Originally, Ferrymead, before it was the Heritage Park, was the place where the early settlers, they walked over the bridle path, they walked down as far as Ferrymead, and then they caught the ferry across to High Street and that made their way into the city. Ferrymead Heritage Park was established in 1964, and a group of people, Heathcote County Council, had this land and wanted to make use of it, and it was going to be a science and technology museum. Morphing from science and technology, thousands and thousands of voluntary hours and fundraising, we now have Ferrymead Heritage Park. So my name is Martin James and I'm the president of the Friends of Ferrymead, and I've been at Ferrymead Heritage Park for 44 years. I think at the moment we've got 16 societies incorporated under the Ferrymead Trust, and they range from the print shop to the Tramway Historical Society, the Railway Society, so they're the big players, Aeronautical Society, Fire Service, Rural History, so there's about 16 of them.
I'm Heather. I'm the Secretary Treasurer of the Society of Rural History.
And you had a stroke recently?
I had a stroke a few years ago, broken my talker. I was here about 40 years now, but only very lightly for starters. Much heavier involved over the last 15 years so.
My voluntary hours here in the park often would range 10 hours a week. That's probably minimum. When we're catering, you know, you'll be here at 4 in the evening, and you'll still be here at 1 or 2, and then in the morning, and then you're back into it the next day. The hours clock up. Coming down, there's the vacuuming, the cleaning that we do after hours. So it certainly is very, very labour-intensive, time-consuming. The whole of the park, the volunteers, it's a question people ask all the time, and my sense would be we might have 100 maximum in the park, and that's tramways, railways, the big players. But considering the number of societies and the size of the park, it's pretty scarce.
I'm Georgia Mangelsdorf, and I am a volunteer tram driver here. The Tramway Historical Society, they not only operate the trams in this park, they do work on other trams, on trolley buses, punting boats. They own and let out some of the trams that are seen in town, and they do a lot of repairs.
Meeting the guests is one of the most important things that I do. When guests come into the house, I stop everything and explain to them about the house, give them the history of it. And you can tell some just want to have a quick look and go. Some an hour later they're still here, and I'm thinking they're just going to see nothing else unless they get a move on. So it's interaction with the guests, and if it wasn't for the guests, then there would be no purpose in being here in the park.
Idea is to keep all farm equipment, old farm equipment, that we can keep it working. All tractors in this room are working order. We have lots of stationary engines working. We have just recently, the boys have got going an electric car. Very pleased have go.
I started life many years ago as a goldsmith. And over the sort of course of life, I got so interested in the hand skills that I basically taught myself and learnt as many hand skills as I possibly can. So go from goldsmith to blacksmith has been an extrapolation through life of actually a learning process. The thing I like most about blacksmithing really is the fact that you take a block of anything and you turn it into something that's either beautiful or usable. That's the fundament to me.
Hard to get volunteers that will actually come and do the work, weed the garden, paint, get the coal, you know, all of that sort of thing. Our biggest problem is volunteers and finding the right ones.
It'd be nice if some younger people came in to try and understand of the working of this equipment, because you know we are getting older, and if the old people die out, the young ones not going to know how they go. Sad.
The importance behind blacksmithing is like any other hand skill, is we're losing it. At the end of the day, we're being run by people who don't appreciate people anymore. And we're losing the abilities and the notions to be able to make things ourselves. Our past is fundamental to our future. And if we lose our past, we actually lose our future.
I believe that we need to look after heritage. It gives us a sense of history, where we've been. You know, we never know where we're going, but we can look back and there's reassurance. Many people come in and the first comment they make walking in the door is it smells like their grandmother's house.
A lot of things that are heritage, they need to be kept alive because they're seen as dying art. I mean, this is one of the most incredible forms of transport that were around, being electric, and the distance that it travelled, the amount of people that it carried, the beauty and the craftsmanship, the stories that trams are able to tell. We have people come and visit us who have been on these exact trams when they were children, and it's part of their history, and it's amazing that we're able to include it in our own.
It's history, it is history of the country. I know you have got to go forward and all the modern equipment, but you know, you've got to know where it came from, how it started. The Kiwi man had to make a lot of things, had to know how to work, had to know how to keep his tractors going, because you'll be 6 to 12 months before you get anything coming from overseas. So it's important that we know that these things have been kept going.
I just think that in our life we have to give back, and you get from giving, and I give here 100%, and I get back from the guests that come in the door, from our society members, such an appreciation.
I just like to be here for something to do. Yes, I like just to be here. I try and make the books balance.
To be able to be one of those people that have the blessing of actually providing that memory to other people, whether young or old, it's really heartwarming, and to see the joy and the excitement of people coming for the first time or coming back, it means a lot to me, and to be able to volunteer doing this, it's honestly one of the highlights of my day.
I have this sort of silly notion that by bucking the modern trends of being on social media and actually going back to face-to-face transactions, of actually talking to people, the energy that you actually get from talking and showing somebody real is where my passion is. That's where I want to be. Keep going forward, of getting people in, teaching people the fundamental basics of what they can do, and seeing people come and go with a passion. To actually see the creativity and the passion in their eyes again is what I'm here for.
I think one of the important things that people should always remember when they come into the park is that it's not Disneyland. There are lots of things that aren't perfect, but as we live in an imperfect world, and we're a group of volunteers that we do our very, very best. It is a really worthwhile place to come and visit.
I just adore this place, and I want it to be around forever, and so many locals call it Christchurch's hidden gem, and it would be really cool if one day it wasn't so hidden.
And do you ever think about retiring?
What's that? I no good time. No good time. No, too busy.